Have you ever wondered what the real pirates of the Caribbean were like? Movies give us a glimpse, but what was it really like to be a pirate? The Caribbean Sea holds untold stories, secrets and legends abound, and of course, lost treasures. Let's set sail on a journey. Blackbeard, Calico Jack and Bonny, legends in their own right. These were not just fictional characters, they were real people. They lived and breathed the life of a pirate. They left a trail of plundered gold and sunken ships. Join me as we dive into the untold history of the real pirates of the Caribbean. The Golden Age of Piracy. From the mid-17th to the early 18th century, the Caribbean Sea became a pirate haven. Trade routes teemed with treasure-laden ships, creating the perfect environment for piracy to thrive. Spain, England and France all vied for dominance. Privateers, sanctioned by their governments, preyed on enemy ships. Many privateers, tasting the freedom and riches of piracy, turned to outright criminal activity. The Caribbean, with its countless islands and hidden coves, provided the perfect hideouts. Former sailors, escaped slaves, and even disgruntled aristocrats joined their ranks. Life at sea was harsh and dangerous, but the promise of fortune and freedom was a powerful lure. The lure of the Caribbean was irresistible. Spain, in the 16th century, had established a vast empire. Gold and silver flowed from the Americas to their coffers. English, French and Dutch privateers sought to disrupt Spain's monopoly. These privateers, often little more than pirates with a license, raided Spanish ships and settlements. The Spanish, fiercely protective of their wealth, responded with force. Small, fast ships, favored by the pirates, could easily outmaneuver the larger Spanish galleons. The pirates, skilled sailors and fighters, exploited this advantage. Ambushes and daring raids became their hallmark. The term buccaneer emerged in the mid-17th century. Originally referring to hunters on Hispaniola, they soon turned to piracy. Tortuga, an island off the coast of Hispaniola, became their haven. Privateers, operating with letters of marque, walked a fine line. Many turned to outright piracy, targeting ships of any nation. The Caribbean became a melting pot of nationalities, all drawn by the promise of plunder. Henry Morgan, a Welsh privateer, became a feared name. His daring raids on Spanish settlements made him both wealthy and infamous. The late 17th century saw a shift in the dynamics of Caribbean piracy. Privateers, finding themselves without official sanction, turned to full-fledged piracy. Nassau, on the island of New Providence in the Bahamas, emerged as a new pirate stronghold. For a brief period, Nassau became known as the Pirate Republic. Here, pirates lived by their own code, electing their leaders and dividing their loot. This era saw the rise of some of the most famous names in pirate lore. Life aboard a pirate ship was not all rum-soaked revelry and buried treasure. Pirates, despite their reputation for lawlessness, had their own set of rules. These articles, as they were called, governed everything, from the division of plunder to the resolution of disputes. These articles were designed to maintain order. Each pirate crew had its own unique set of articles. They were agreed upon before setting sail. New recruits swore an oath to uphold them. The captain's power was not absolute. He was elected by the crew and could be replaced if he lost their support. Life at sea was arduous and dangerous. The work was demanding, the living conditions cramped and unsanitary. Food was often scarce and monotonous, yet for many, the lure of piracy outweighed the risks. Pirates, drawn from all walks of life, were a motley crew. They were motivated by a thirst for adventure, a desire for wealth, and a longing for freedom from the constraints of society. The allure of the pirate life was undeniable. The pirate ship was more than just a vessel. It was their home, their sanctuary, their weapon. Sloops, brigantines and schooners were favoured for their ability to navigate the shallow waters of the Caribbean. These ships were armed to the teeth. Pirates were skilled sailors and fighters. The ship was their lifeblood. It carried them to their targets, provided them with shelter and served as their platform for battle. Despite hardships, pirates formed strong bonds with their ships and their fellow crewmates. Few names evoke the image of a pirate more readily than Blackbeard. Edward Teach, as he was known before adopting his infamous moniker, was a figure of legend in his own time. His thick black beard, said to have been braided and adorned with lit fuses during battle, struck fear into the hearts of sailors across the Caribbean. Blackbeard's flagship, the Queen Anne's Revenge, was a formidable vessel. Despite his fearsome reputation, some historians argue that Blackbeard was more of a shrewd strategist than a bloodthirsty savage. John Rackham, better known as Calico Jack, earned his nickname from his penchant for clothing made from brightly coloured calico fabric. While not as notorious as Blackbeard, Calico Jack is credited with popularising the iconic skull and crossbones flag, known as the Jolly Roger. Calico Jack's career as a pirate was marked by daring escapes and a flamboyant lifestyle. He operated primarily in the Bahamas, raiding ships and amassing a small fortune. In 1720, Calico Jack and his crew were captured by a British force. His legend, however, lived on, fueled by tales of his exploits and his association with the two infamous female pirates who sailed with him. Anne Bonny's story is one of rebellion, adventure, and defiance of societal norms. Born in Ireland in the late 17th century, she found herself drawn to the allure of the pirate life. Disguising herself as a man, she made her way to the Caribbean, where she joined Calico Jack Rackham's crew. Her true identity remained a secret for some time, her skills as a sailor and fighter earning her the respect of her fellow pirates. When Calico Jack and his crew were captured, Bonny and Red were among those sentenced to death. While Reed died in prison, Bonny's fate remains a mystery. The Golden Age of Piracy has left an indelible mark on our collective imagination. Tales of buried treasure, swashbuckling adventures, and ruthless pirates have been passed down through generations, often blurring the lines between fact and fiction. While the reality of pirate life was often brutal and short-lived, the legends they inspired continue to fascinate us. These legends, often embellished over time, serve as a reminder of a bygone era. While the Golden Age of Piracy may be long gone, the allure of hidden treasure and the spirit of adventure it embodies continue to capture our imaginations. The allure of pirate treasure is undeniable. Stories of pirates burying their loot in secret locations, leaving behind only cryptic maps and whispered clues, have fueled countless treasure hunts and inspired adventurers for generations. While the reality of pirate treasure is often more mundane than the romanticized tales would suggest, there is no denying that pirates did accumulate significant wealth during the Golden Age of Piracy. The treasure that was buried was often done so out of necessity. These hiding places were often marked on maps, but these maps were often crudely drawn and easily lost or destroyed, leading to much speculation and countless failed treasure hunts over the centuries. Few names in pirate lore are as synonymous with buried treasure as Captain William Kidd. Kidd's story is one of intrigue, betrayal, and the elusive promise of untold riches. Originally a privateer commissioned by the British Crown to hunt down pirates, Kidd turned to piracy himself, capturing valuable ships before returning to the Caribbean. Fearing arrest, Kidd is said to have buried treasure on Gardiner's Island off Long Island, New York. He was captured, taken to England, and executed for piracy in 1701. The legend of Kidd's treasure has inspired countless treasure hunters. While some artifacts have been recovered, the bulk of his treasure remains elusive. Gardiner's Island has been extensively searched, but no sign of the legendary treasure has been found. Whether Kidd's treasure is a myth or reality remains a subject of debate. His story continues to capture the imagination, a testament to the allure of pirate lore. Section 3. The treasure of the Flor de la Mar lost and found. The Flor de la Mar, a Portuguese carrack, met a tragic end in 1511, caught in a violent storm off the coast of Sumatra. The ship was laden with treasure from the Portuguese conquest of Malacca. Among its cargo were gold, silver, and precious stones. The exact location of the Flor de la Mar wreck remains a mystery. The Straits of Malacca are notoriously treacherous, with strong currents and poor visibility. Despite these challenges, the lure of the Flor de la Mar's treasure continues to draw treasure hunters. Amateur treasure hunters have claimed to have located the wreck site using sonar technology. However, no conclusive evidence of the Flor de la Mar's final resting place has ever been found. The treasure of the Flor de la Mar remains one of the most sought-after prizes in maritime history. Section 1. The tide turns naval power and pirate decline. The Golden Age of Piracy, while marked by daring raids and legendary figures, was not destined to last. By the early 18th century, the tides began to turn against the pirates who had terrorized the Caribbean for decades. European powers, recognizing the economic and political threat posed by unchecked piracy, began to invest heavily in their naval forces, determined to regain control of the seas. The British Royal Navy in particular emerged as a formidable force in the Caribbean. New, faster ships, armed with superior firepower, were deployed to hunt down pirate vessels. Governors in pirate havens like Nassau and Port Royal were replaced with officials less tolerant of piracy, and rewards were offered for the capture of notorious pirate captains. The once safe havens for pirates were slowly being transformed into traps. The increased naval presence forced pirates to adapt their tactics. Some turned to preying on smaller, less well-defended targets, venturing further afield to less patrolled waters. Others sought refuge in remote islands, far from the reach of the growing naval forces. However, the days of openly operating pirate havens like Nassau were coming to an end. The noose was tightening, and the Golden Age of Piracy was entering its twilight. Section 2. The Last Stand of the Pirates. Despite the growing pressure from European navies, many pirates refused to give up their life of freedom and plunder easily. Fierce battles raged between pirate ships and naval vessels, each side fighting with a tenacity born of desperation. The pirates, outnumbered and outgunned, relied on their cunning, their knowledge of the waters, and their willingness to take risks to even the odds. One such battle, the last stand of the notorious pirate Bartholomew Roberts, known as Blackbeard, exemplified the spirit of defiance that characterized the final days of the Golden Age of Piracy. In 1722, Roberts's fleet was cornered by two British warships off the coast of West Africa. Despite being vastly outnumbered, Roberts and his crew fought with ferocity, unleashing a devastating barrage of cannon fire upon the approaching enemy ships. Roberts, however, was killed early in the engagement, struck by grape shot, while on the deck of his flagship, the Royal Fortune. His death demoralized his crew, and the pirates were soon overwhelmed by the superior firepower of the British Navy. The capture of Roberts' fleet marked a turning point in the fight against piracy, signaling the beginning of the end for the Golden Age of Piracy in the Caribbean. Section 1. The End of an Era, the Birth of Legends. The Golden Age of Piracy eventually faded, leaving behind a legacy of adventure, cruelty, and enduring mystery. The Caribbean, once a pirate's playground, slowly returned to a semblance of order under European control. But the stories of the pirates who once ruled these waves lived on, passed down through generations, evolving into the legends we know today. We've journeyed through history, uncovering the truth behind these maritime marauders. From Blackbeard's fearsome reign to Bonny's defiant spirit, we've explored their lives, their motivations, and the world they inhabited. But some secrets remain elusive. Treasures lost beneath the waves, their locations known only through whispered rumors and faded maps. Could there be hidden treasures left waiting to be found? What stories lie buried beneath the sands of time, waiting to be unearthed? The Golden Age of Piracy may be over, but the allure of the unknown, the spirit of adventure, and the quest for hidden treasures continue to capture our imaginations. The legacy of the pirates lives on, a reminder that sometimes truth is indeed stranger than fiction. If you enjoyed this dive into pirate history, don't forget to hit that subscribe button so we can continue exploring history's greatest mysteries together.